Welcome back, everybody. We have some good news. We got our suspension in. Tyler with two-wheel suspension called me last week, said he's got the fork kits in and the rear shock from K-Tech. So we decided to make a road trip out of this to Asheville, South Carolina. I dropped the forks off early that morning. That evening I picked them up. He installed the internals, got them all set up. Fork actually came with the right spring on it from K-Tech. They set it up for us. We have everything here now to get the suspension on the bike, and I will show you guys what we have, and then we'll start the install. All right, here are the forks with the kits installed. This is your right fork, and you'll notice this 14 millimeter here, that's your adjustment for preload. You'll have rebound adjustment, which is at 3 millimeter Allen inside. And then on the left fork, the center one is actually for compression. The kit, you get a wrench, take the top cap off, hold the nut, and then this holds the shaft. Pretty easy to take and change springs in these. Don't even have to remove them from the bike. In the kit, you get the book, some decals, and you actually get 3 sets of springs. You get 9/0s, 8/5s, and 9/5s. The 9/5s are what's in the forks now. And we'll install those a little later. I'll show you the rear shock. All right, this is the rear shock. Again, we use K-Tech. In there you get the owner's manual, screw to mount the adjuster for the preload, some decals, K-Tech bag, let me get this box out of the way, and the shock itself. This one here, you got compression, rebound, bypass, and then this is your adjustment for preload, which is really nice. You don't have to have the wrench to adjust it. You can just turn this to change your preload. Nice piece. We went with K-Tech. That's what we've been running. We like them. Our next step is to install all this. All right, just like we did on the rear wheel, we're gonna put the captive spacers in the front wheel too. Just makes things go along a lot easier when you're changing tires. And basically you just put it in, spin it, and then it falls right in place. Always like putting a little grease on this stuff. We got some bolts from Pro Bolt for the brake calipers, the stainless bolts with the screws already in them, lighter, stronger. We also got the pinch bolts to do the same thing. So we'll put all these in, get the wheel on. Out. I usually wire tie these two together so I know they can't back out. Same way with the brake calipers. Just haven't decided whether I'm doing that to these or not. Tie it up in here. You have to have a tool or a big Allen wrench. A couple people make these. Motool makes one. This is a Motrax. 19, 24, and 22 is the 3 different sizes. Fits in like that. And we'll get the torque wrench and torque that. While I got the brake calipers off, I'm gonna go ahead and install the new race pads as well. All right, so I got the old brake pads out, pulled the caliper off, cleaned it up. I went on and took the caliper loose from the brake line. I've got to bleed them anyway. Plus I wanted to get all the old fluid out of the caliper. The new brake lines don't have any fluid in them. So I wanted to get that done. And now we'll put the new pads in. Always make sure, put this to the rotor. If not, you'll have a mess. Yeah, once we get the brakes bled, then we'll loosen these up a little bit, squeeze the brakes, kind of center the caliper up with the rotors. All right, got the front end all back together. New brake pads in, calipers cleaned, put all new fresh brake fluid in. Got a few adjustments to make, but the big part of it's done. So coming up, I'm going to do the rear shock. Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to change out the rear shock. Going to take the stock one off, install the K-Tech. It shouldn't be too hard. It looks like it's the same as changing the one on the Suzuki. So we'll see how it goes. All right, first off, I needed a way to support the bike so that I can drop the swing arm once I take the stand off. So I used the two jack stands. I run a steel rod through the swing arm pivot bolt. I did this on both sides. That way, once I get the bolts out of the shock, drop the rear stand, the tie will drop and the swing arm will drop, take the load off of the shock bolt. One of the bolts that I've got to get to is right here. The other one is down on the bottom. I'll take those, first thing I'll do is get those loose, get the nuts off of them, and then try and get the bolts out. Bottom and out. Rear stand out. Should have known it wasn't going to be that easy. This is a nut that I will have to take off to get this bracket out of the way before I can get the shock out. And I need to check and see what size shim is in it anyway. All right, I got the shock in, got the bolts tight. Only thing I need to do is mount the preload adjuster and then the shock will be done. Not bad at all. I think if I reverse this and bring it out the top, I'll be able to use this bracket and just mount it right there. There we go. Another task down. Hunter's on his way now up to Atlanta with the body work. So hopefully we'll get that painted, get it back, get everything else on the bike. We still have the exhaust and we got to get the engine tuned. That's the biggest things and really the only thing left we got to do to the bike. So waiting to get the exhaust in. Once we get that in and get it on, then we'll take the bike up to Living Good Motorsports. He'll dyno tune it, get the quick shifter set up, put the power commander in it, and then we should be good to go. Wish us luck. Thank you. steering stabilizer bracket, bolts.